Listen, we just literally had a malfunction, and guess what? I could have said, hell no, I'm not doing it again, but no, the information is here for you all. Let me apologize for the fact that the audio was messed up. Went back, found out what the technical difficulty was, and of course, it is a user error, and the only user is me. So, guess what? I'm going to cover all of that information that I just finished covering again so that you can benefit from it. All right, so let's get started. I will delay my cardio. I have prep, got competition coming up, but it's very important that you all understand this because you all, a lot of people DM me about it. So let's go over it. All right, so listen. I got to say this again. No negativity in the chat. If I see negativity, I'm booting you out of there. Another thing is I want to thank everybody who ordered a Making Muscles, Not Excuses t-shirt. I have more coming. I had more go out. I will get you one. If you DM me, send me your email address. I will send you an invoice. I will ship you a shirt. I really appreciate people supporting the brand, supporting this channel, coming here, all of that. For the other people who were in the chat earlier on the first initial live and missed all that information, I extremely apologize. I hope that when I post this video that you will be able to come back to it and know that the audio will be correct. Another thing is this, the super chat is here. If for some reason this comment section ever abundantly has a random abundant amount of comments and I miss a question or don't see it, you can hit the super chat. Those colors will definitely flash me and I'll notice that and get right to it. I'm hoping that this audio is not jacked. I just ran a test, and if it's jacked, I will do it a third time because I'm not that person. I hate quitting. So let's get into this. Meal prepping logistics. And what is that? Meal prepping logistics is pretty much what it sounds like. How do we logistically plan to get these meals together to, one, help us in our goals, two, construct them in a way that are going to optimize performance for us, three, transporting them, which is a big thing. How do we transport these meals throughout the day so that we can have them with whatever kind of schedule we have? Because everybody has different schedules. You got people that are real estate agents. You got people that are trainers like me. You have people that work in an office or corporate setting, people that are on the road, on the go. So depending on what your day-to-day career is going to impact the way that you get these meals to and fro throughout your day. So all of this information that I'm going to provide for you is going to help you start structuring something or acquiring certain things to help you get onto a better path. All right. These are things that I do for my clients. These are things that I do for my clients that are, whether they're on the fitness app, the meal plans, the macro plans, the full workout plans, and even my competitive clients. This is something that is fundamental to help you. One topic we're going to start on first is tools and resources. And what are tools and resources? These are things that are going to help you start structuring all this other stuff. So you need a meal tracking app, okay? I don't want to hear it. You need a meal tracking app if you're really going to be serious about this. You need something that is going to allow you to put these foods in, that's going to allow you to see the value of the macros of these foods and the caloric tally of these foods so that you can understand that the foods that you're eating are going to help you adhere to the plan that you got, all right? You also are going to need things like measuring cups. You need to have portion control. Portion control is very important. Unless you have some type of Jedi hand trick mind thing, you don't actually know what portions you're having. So if you don't know what portions you're having, you could be over consuming. Therefore, by over consuming, you're blowing through your macros. And if your macros are supposed to be in a deficit, you just ruined your deficit. Okay. Now, not everybody needs to be in a deficit. It's very hard to build muscle in a deficit. Right now, I am in a deficit, so much so the most that I can do at this point in time is probably fill out here and there. But if you really want to put on muscle, you more than likely you don't want to be in a deficit. So when I hear this whole term lean bulk, okay, I'll go with it. But the truth is either you're bulking or you're lean. Okay, now I understand the whole concept of when they say lean bulk, like I don't want to get fat, I still want to have definition. That's highly possible. We rearrange and structure the macros in a way to hopefully not assist you in gaining fat, but giving you enough energy for the body to utilize the protein and the carbohydrates for muscle hypertrophy. All right, that's possible. But the term lean bulk is just thrown around so damn much, almost like the term shredded, like you're shredded. If you're not under, I'm going to say it like this, I'm even going to be very liberal in giving. If you're not under 8%, 7%, you're not anywhere in the shredded category. You may be defined, you may even be lean, but you're not shredded. I've been shredded. My first season competing, I was 5 point something percent body fat. And let me tell you, life sucked ass. All right. Life sucked. So that's a whole nother episode. We'll get into that later. But another thing you're going to need is a scale. I always tell my clients when they buy a scale, first go digital. Second, don't go too cheap because we do want some type of standard to be upheld here. We want this scale to be have a very small variation of error. You know, we don't want a large window of error. You got 6 ounces on here, but the scale's like, it could be plus or minus 2 ounces. We don't need a variation like that. Okay, so spend at least $20 on a good scale, maybe from Target if they have it on sale. That's where I got mine from. It was like a $25-$30 scale. They had it on sale for like $15. I lucked out. All right. So you need a scale, and I always want my clients to get a scale that's in increments of pounds, ounces, and grams. Those 3 increments are pretty good to have. Usually that's what you're going to see smaller items weighed in as grams, you know, your chicken and your stuff like that, ounces, but every now and then you're going to have a bigger portion and you may need pounds. So don't get a scale that's going to error you out when it starts getting to loads like pounds. Okay. Get something that may handle 15 pounds. I know you say like 15 pounds. What the hell are you going to eat? Trust me. If you can find something 10, 15 pounds before it errors out, that's a good scale. So those are things you need, tools and resources, because without these tools and resources, you're pretty much shooting in the dark. You're pretty much trying to guess that you're eating well. And I get this response when I ask this question to potential clients that I'm evaluating and even people I have casual conversation with. How do you know if you're eating good? And they usually say, oh, I'm eating better. Well, what does eating better mean? What do you mean by that? And usually what they say, well, you know, I stopped eating so many cookies and I'm eating more salad now. Listen, I've seen people kill a salad. First of all, you get a salad, cool, leafy green, spinach, something like that, great. But then you take Thousand Islands, you take ranch, you take a boatload of cheese, you take some less lean turkey or chicken, and now you've increased the fat, you've increased the carbs and the calories up, and you've taken a salad that probably is going to have 1,400 and some calories in one meal, and your complete daily macros might tally you up to 1,700 and something calories, depending on what type of deficit or surplus you're in. So you just ruined your meal. You just ruined your deficit. This is why you need scales. You need to be able to know these foods and how they're impacting your macros. And another thing that I'm going to say, I know you're going to hear a lot of people, because a lot of people have said, and I've had a conversation with a lot of people, not everybody. People have said to me, macros don't matter. Counting calories don't matter. Yeah, they do matter. Maybe you don't want to pay attention to them. Maybe you don't even observe them, but they're still there. That's like saying the price of gas doesn't matter. Yeah, it matters. Depending on how many gallons you can get, depending on what your bank account can hold, depends on how many gallons of gas you can afford. Then depends on how that's going to determine how far you can go. So yeah, everything matters regardless if you pay attention to it. It's still there. That's just like me. I drive an SUV, right? When I go to the pump, I don't even look at the money because I know this SUV is going to cost me $70, $80 to fill up. Even though I don't look at it, that $70, $80 still came out of my bank account. So even though you don't look at these calories and these macros, they're still impacting your fitness goals. They're the reason why you're going to get lean or you're going to get fat. All right. So pay attention to them. And this is my suggestion to people that don't like to count the calories, don't like to count the macros, because me as a trainer and a nutrition specialist, I can understand that it gets tedious, that it is something that is definitely not the funnest. But I have checked my screen time and I can spend upwards of an hour on my MyFitnessPal. Okay. At least do it for a week. If you at least use this tool for a week, you can gain some type of idea in connection to what your portions need to be to put you in that vicinity majority of the time. At least you're closer to that target, because at first you were so broad, you were missing the backside of a barn. But if you can narrow that target into hitting the door, at least whether it's the top or the bottom of the door, you're doing that much better. And that's always my rule of thumb. Rule of thumb. Let's do better than not. If we can lock in for 6 days and we're off one day, we still made progress. Everything has to be taken in steps, and it really bites my ass when I see these trainers talking to their clients And I don't get into it because at the end of the day, as an ethical situation, I don't want to intervene in between a trainer and their client. But I'm going to say this: when I see trainers or nutrition specialists trying to wield and bend clients to their ever giving mercy, it really bites my ass because at the end of the day, that's not being a good trainer or nutrition specialist. Yes, we have to be hard and assertive, but there comes a point where I have to know I have to come off this mountain and meet you where you are and build a bridge because that's why I'm here. If I just want to stick to my rules, I can train and feed myself. But if I'm trying to help you, I need to find out what's going to assist you, find a way to communicate with you, find a way to get you to adhere to these things, and then help mold you into a way that will be better for you because everything in life wants to travel the path of least resistance. I don't care if it's water, if it's a rock, if it's a marble, even your thought process. The human body, elements, period, always want to travel the least path of resistance. Okay. So, with that being said, we can find a way to help you utilize these tools and resources to get your meals on track. All right. So, the next section is going to be acquiring the food based on your plan. So, as in my programs, depending if you buy a meal plan or you buy a caloric reference plan, and the difference between the two are this: a meal plan, my meal plans. Now, I've seen some meal plans and I get tired of this too. People get these meal plans, they send this person $40, they send you back a PDF file, and you know what? It's not personalized. They sent that cookie cutter plan to everybody that's paid that $40. When I do a meal plan, you're going to get something to fill out. First thing, the big two T's: taste and texture. There's going to be a food list, and I guarantee you there's going to be something on that list that either you don't like the taste of or you don't like the texture of. And if anybody has been through educational processes, we know that the texture and the palate are two of the critical things that will have a person like, tolerate, or love a food, to hate a food. Okay. So once you go through the food list and allergies too, you mark off the foods like I hate that because I can't deal with the texture. I hate that. I'm allergic to it. I'm going to take that food list. I'm going to compile you a meal plan based off what your goals are. So I also have to evaluate on that. What are you trying to do? Then I have to set up the structure of your macros, your calories, and all of that. So now that I have the foods that you like, I develop the frequency. How many meals in that day? I'm going to tell you what times I want you to consume them. I'm going to tell you what foods I want you to consume. I'm going to tell you how much, what's the portion control of all of this. When you get a meal plan from me, it's going to be at least 3 pages: a page understanding who it belongs to, a page outlining what's going on, a page outlining your meal plan, and then another page for your food references. Because at some point in time, once you get used to the plan, I want to allow you a little room to mix and match foods. Okay, but we don't want to do that too early because you've already been adhering to habits, whether they're bad or not. You've adhered to habits that are comfortable to you. So if we're trying to get you to switch over to something that is going to optimize your goals, it's something that you're not accustomed to, so you're not comfortable to it. So that's where the least pass come from. So if you're trying to incorporate some of these old habits, they're going to win over because you're comfortable with it. All right. So stick to the plan. Once we get that, we get the foods. Okay. So now we know what our calories and our macros are. Let's find out these foods that we're going to get: the protein, the carbs, and the greens. And I always say this is where utilizing the resources and the tools will come into play when you get these foods in. So I always suggest 2 proteins, 2 carbs, 2 greens. That gives you a little variety, but it decreases the chances of you having to do so much work on the front end of finding out, okay, how many calories, how many macros, how much can I have of this? Once you get into a habit, you can shoot that in. But people go wrong, and this is where the negative stereotype comes in with eating healthy. People will usually say eating healthy is too expensive. That's incorrect. You're making it too expensive. And maybe not you personally, but people make it too expensive because they get onto social media and they want to have all the salmon, turkey, chicken, beef, brown rice, white rice, sweet potato, white potato. And then you're trying to do all this, and now you've made it so expensive that it's going to turn you off. Because I always see this: whether you're building a car, you're building a house, or you're building a food plan, Money is the neutralizer of everything. And if you feel that you are spending way more money than you want to, you're going to stop spending it if you can. You don't have to make it expensive. Like today, I'm in prep. I'm 2 weeks out. I spent $55 on 10 pounds of chicken. I am well aware that I could have went to Publix, Kroger, Sam's, Walmart, even Target, even Target, and spent far less than $55, damn near 60 bucks on 10 pounds of chicken. But the point is this, I'm at a level that I'm trying to extract as much potential, as much cutting edge as I can before I step on stage. So if that means for 3 weeks, I have to spend money in organically raised, regular farm-grown bred chickens instead of chickens that have had their breeding process manipulated to go ahead and increase their size. They have all these other problems. That's what I'm going to do. That's the level I am at this current status. You don't have to do that, okay? You getting the chicken breast is far better than you getting the chicken club with all the mayonnaise and everything else from Subway because you think it's great. That's a step in the right direction. Get the Tyson, get the Purdue, all right, if that's what you can do. Other than that, the next thing we move on to is mocking up the meals. And what is that? I check my screen time. And listen, can somebody let me know if they're hearing me in the chat? Can you let me make sure before I get into the rest of this live, if in the chat, if audio is good, if you give me a thumbs up or a like, just let me know. Good, because I want everybody to hear this. I know I had 2 people earlier that were like, let me know, like, yo, I can't hear you, and that sucked for them. I hope you come back. So I just want some type of verification. I wish YouTube would put on here a verification, let us know if audio is messed up, but they don't do that. Maybe they should incorporate that. But the next thing we're going to do is mark up these meals. We're going to take that fitness tracking app and we're going to start saying how much protein, how much chicken are we going to have? How much rice are we going to have? How much spinach are we going to have? And that fitness tracking app is going to start tallying up the macros, tallying up the calories. This is pre-planning. I tell my clients this, the 6 P's, and I'm telling you this too, write it down. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. If you're trying to adhere to a nutrition protocol and you think you're just going to go off the whim of the day, just off the cuff of your wrist, grab foods here and there, break when it's time for you to eat, and you think you're going to hit those targets, you're sadly mistaken unless you are years into accustomed to knowing exactly what you can get, where you can get it, how much you can get. When I log in every week and check my clients and I check the calendar and I check their macros and I see how far they're off, right after a couple of days, I know they didn't pre-plan. They didn't sit down, put their food in, and see if these meals were going to meet their goals for the next day. You have to plan the day before for the next day. I'm going to tell you right now, if I opened up my Fitness Pal, I already have my meals lined out until next Tuesday. I'm not saying you got to be that anal. I know that's a bit much. You don't have to do it, but I'm just saying I don't want to take a time where I know I get caught up and I'm like, damn, what I got to do? It's already there. And you can do that. So why not do it? If you got free time, you're sitting up watching the show, why not get in my Fitness Pal, start working on your meals? You know what you got in the kitchen. You'd be surprised. Sometimes you start putting stuff in and you're like, oh, I don't have chicken breast. Oh, I don't have rice. You got to go get it. All right. So start marking up the meals to see what you need. Next, you need to develop a frequency. Now, if you have my meal plan, the frequency is already lined out. If you have the caloric reference plan, a frequency is not lined out. Food's not lined out, but you have your macros and your calories. Now you need to decide how you're going to eat this a day. And I would suggest that you eat every 3 hours. Every 3 hours, you should have an intake. Keep your metabolism up, keep your body full of nutrients and sustenance, and that should help you every 3 to 4 hours for the regular person. If you're competitive, then I'm going to give you a different frequency based off what we're trying to do and what we want the body to do. But other than that, you need to line out your frequency. In my Fitness Pal, I have a video on YouTube already that will show you how to do some of these things on my Fitness Pal. You're going to decide how many meals you're going to have that day. Now, for the typical person that's just trying to live a functional life, trying to lose fat, I suggest 3 of the solid meals. You got breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But in between that lunch and that dinner, I always suggest throw a snack in there, a healthy snack. Now, this snack doesn't have to be something that's sweet and good to you. Sometimes you should take the opportunity to use this fourth implemented meal or the third one of the day, and pretty much look at the macros that you typically lag in. And most times, my women lag in the protein section. All right, carbs is hardly ever the problem. Very rarely do I have a person that has a problem reaching carbs. Carbs are just, they're just like, take me. Fats, everything with fat in it damn near tastes good. So usually it's the protein section. And majority of the time, my women have the issue with the protein section. So we'll look at that, and you might want to use that snack section to help you increase that macro section. All right. Now, with that being said, you're hearing me talk a lot about macros and calories. And I know that there are certain circles and certain groups out there where they say counting macros is bullcrap. Count calories is bullcrap. No, it's not. Like I said before, even though if you don't pay attention to them, they're still there. It's not bullcrap. It just can help you better understand what's going on if you have a situation. And that's where also decreasing the variations of all these foods can also help you if you have a situation where your weight starts going up, or maybe your weight's dropping too fast. Well, if you go into your fitness tracking, your meal tracking app, and you start looking at your macros, like, you know what? My carb, I haven't been meeting my carb. And if you have been portion controlling and using the scale, technically you should be. But every now and then I understand. But this way you can understand is since you only have like 2 carbs and 2 proteins, you can look and maybe see maybe one of these carbs is not doing the best thing for you. Maybe one of these carbs is causing you inflammation. Things like that. So when you don't have a lot, less is more is really less is more. But if you had a bunch of foods that you had thrown in there, now you have to shuffle through 10, 15 different foods to try to find out where your problem is. Okay. So with that being said, now we're going to arrange the nutrition to optimize your day. And what do I mean by that? Eating certain foods at different times of the day will help you increase your performance. Okay. If I know you're going to work out, let's say you work out in the mornings. Okay. You work out in the mornings, then I want you to eat this in the morning, an hour before you go work out, an hour or two at least. Or if you work out in the evenings, okay, then I can have you eat this in the morning, but I can bring you to have this meal later on in the afternoon, which is going to help you supply you with the energy and the nutrients you need for the meal, for the pre-workout and the post-workout. So lining up your meals with the certain food items throughout the day will help you optimize for performance. All right. Like I said, if you need help, you need a meal plan, www.thatguyhealth.com for meal plans, training plans, all that. I got clients in Germany. I got clients overseas. I got clients in Cali, Texas, everywhere on the fitness app. And the fitness app can be downloaded on Apple, iOS, or the Google Play. It's That Guy Health. All right. So now that we've marked up these meals, we understand what we're going to get, the foods we're going to have, the frequency that we're going to adhere to. Now we should know at this point in time that everything should meet our targets. If you have the macros in place, the calories should be there. If the calories are there, don't necessarily mean the macros are there. Understand that. Just because that said person has 1900 calories and this said person has 1900 calories, their body should do the same thing. That is not true. Underneath the surface, the macros will start to more dictate how these bodies start looking. Okay. If this person's got 1900 calories, but they're increased 50, 60% in carbohydrates, this person's 1900 calories and they're increased 60, 50% in fat, things are going to be looking different. Okay. Things are going to start happening a little bit different on a different time scale. Depending on their activity level is something else. So when you're my client, I want you to have a wearable. And that's going to be another topic for a situation, but we'll briefly go into it. I want you to have something that's going to help track how many calories you're burning on a said day. Now, this is all an approximate, but remember what I said. Having something like a resource or a tool to get you into that area will be far better than you just guessing. Some people will guess that they're probably only burning 500 calories a day. And I will tell you that if you're only burning 500 calories a day, you're not active at all. I burned that in a 1.5, 2 hour workout session. I just burned what? I just probably burned. I'll tell you what, I will check. I'll tell you right now. In the workout session I did before we got on the live, and that workout session was less than 30 minutes. It was 19 minutes. I burned 106 calories in 19 minutes. In 19 minutes, I burned 106 calories. So if you think that you're only burning 500 calories and you walk all day, you're wrong. Okay, because that also matters. When I send your eval, I want to know what you do for a job. Somebody who works at a restaurant and is on their feet all day compared to somebody who sits in a cubicle and has a bunch of computers sitting in front of them, their caloric values, their usage is going to be different. Okay, so this person is going to use way more calories being on their feet, walking back and forth from the kitchen to the bar to the tabletops, versus this person who's sitting in a computer, sitting in front of a computer, and they very rarely get up. Their daily usage is going to be different. And as a trainer and as a nutrition specialist, I have to be aware of that, because then that tells me that I might need to give you said more macros than this person. And that's where personalized meal plans come in. Some of you are paying for these meal plans, and these people are really taking advantage of you. They're sending you a PDF file that they probably sent to hundreds of other people. And I'm not knocking their hustle, but I'm knocking their integrity. I'm knocking their ethics, because that is not being ethically responsible. If I say that I'm sending you a meal plan, I need to be sending you something that's going to help optimize your goals. And I cannot do that by sending you a cookie cutter plan, because it's not tailored for you. I don't know what you do. I don't know how many calories you use, and therefore I don't know how much to give you. So even if I give you something like 2,000 calories, and I know you usually see that 2,000 calorie based nutritional diet, even if I give you that, and you're that person who works at a warehouse, who's on their feet all day, and you're burning 3,000 calories, but you want to gain, well, technically you're in 1,000 calorie deficit. So you're not going to be gaining. Okay, I have to have you in somewhat of a surplus to maintain or push you over. So that means I need to know usage. So this means that you also need to know this if you're not going to be purchasing a meal plan or caloric value. I'm telling you what to do to try to help formulate your own process. You need to be able to have some way, Apple Watch, the Samsung Watch. I'm not a big fan of Samsung, but some type of wearable that will give you some type of data on your calorie usage. Okay, do that. So now that we've done that, now let's get to the fun stuff. The fun stuff that everybody sees on social media, all this other stuff. First, let's get into this. What is this? A shaker bottle. You've seen me drink out of this thing a couple of times. And let's go into that. Stop drinking your calories and your macros. What do I mean by that? Cut out the fruit juice. Cut out the sodas. Yeah, I know it says diet soda, but you know what? That thing still has calories in it. It's more than likely still has some type of carb sugar in it. Start drinking more water, branched chain aminos, something that's going to not impact your caloric values. Because if you're drinking your calories, you're not getting the food and sustenance you need. Therefore, those chewables really do help you make it, especially if you're in a deficit. But something like this, now we're really getting into the logistic planning of packing this food, okay? First, another thing I want to say is save your money. All right, when we get into this, we'll get into that. But listen, something like this to pack your drink in, your water in. And if you're going to have protein, bam. So let's say you're going to get ready to go to the gym. You can eat pre-workout. If you do pre-workout, I've been off pre-workout for like a month. All right. No, not a month, like 2 years. I stopped using pre-workout. I utilize my energy by proper carbohydrate nutrients intake. Okay. But if you do that, you got your pre-workout or something small right here. And then you have this bottom section for your protein. If you want to have protein powder after your post-workout meal, or maybe you want to throw some oats in there, have some hot water, mix up a little oatmeal. You can do that. These are compartmental shaker cups. Okay. So there you go. Right there, you have your water you put in here, your shaker mix up. I have given away plenty of these and giveaways on my Instagram channel, on my Instagram page. All right. Usually I do giveaways throughout the year. I'm going to do another giveaway. Right now I got the fat loss challenge going on. Somebody's going to walk away with $300. Other people are going to walk away with $25 gift cards, and I'm giving away trophies. All right. That's going to be ending tomorrow. Another thing is packing the food. Let's get to old Tupperware first. Okay. Let's not go out and spend $200, $150 on a meal prep bag when you haven't even been meal prepping for a day yet. That's a waste of your money. Let's start simple. Keep the KISS system. Keep it simply simple. Now, I know usually they put the other word in there, but I said we're not being negative. So I don't want to call anybody stupid. But let's keep it simply simple. Right here, less than $10. And don't tell me that you don't go grocery shopping and sometimes keep those little plastic bags. I know you do. I do. And don't shame me, because I do. But you can take one of those bags, buy a pack of these, which usually comes in a pack of 3 or 4. And now you have a 2-compartmental food packing system. Protein, your green or your card, right there. Simple and cheap. This way, because usually people have an intermittent phase. And what do I mean when I say that? People usually have moments where they're trying to cross over to leading a healthier life and they fall off time to time because they're not accustomed to it yet. So don't spend $200 on a bag. You're going to end up using it for like a week and then you're like, oh, I'm tired of this. So now it sits in there for 2 months. Then you're like, okay, I'll come back to it. Just get something like this. Use that plastic bag, pack up your meals, decide how many times you're going to eat a day. Then you get into something like this. It's a little bit more tailored toward the fitness and health industry. Single tray foods. It comes with the class system on it, so it doesn't pop off, because these can have a tendency to pop off due to pressure, especially if the food is hot and warm. Pressure builds up in here, and then these lids end up popping off easy like that. And then your food's wasted. So having a class system like this will allow you with a seal to make sure that your food and your liquid stay in the container. This is a single compartmental section, and it's going to be made a little bit more durable, and it's going to come with a bag. Okay, so you can do something like that, or you can go on Amazon and buy these. Now, I bought these like years ago, and I still have them. I still have like 10 of them. I bought 30 or 15 of them, and I give some away sometimes because people want to try to get into this life and they live around me. Say, hey, I know a trainer and you're my family member. Can you give? Yeah, I'll give it to you. But I'm going to tell you right now, I've made meal plans for family members in the past, and I'm going to tell you right now, these plans cost money. It takes me time. It takes me hours to develop a meal plan, a personalized meal plan. And I can tell you, I've yet to have the 3 family members, and trust me, I learned after the 3rd time. You fool me once, shame on you. You fool me twice, damn it, why'd I do? You fool me a 3rd time, I hate it. They've yet to stick to it. For a week, I've not had one family member stick to a meal plan for a week, and that's just not family. That's people, period. You understand that people want to get healthy, but when they see what it takes, sometimes they're not ready to absorb all that. I understand it. But back to these right here, Amazon. I think these on Amazon cost me $15, $20, and I got like 15 or 20 of them. 3 compartments. Mainly your bigger section is going to be for your proteins. Then you'll use your greens and your carbohydrates. Or sometimes people have their salad here, their chicken there, and their carb there. These right here are cheap and nice, and they work. Only thing is the lids can be a bit flimsy, so sometimes they crack. So you have to be very mindful not to try to peel them from here and bend them back. Try to go ahead, pop each corner, and then pull it off gradually. And they should last you a pretty good long time. If you're using something that has a lot of grease in it, whether it's fatty-based grease like salmon or bacon, and then you put these in a microwave, the bottoms will tend to start breaking down because that grease really does have a big impact on these containers. So now we get into the compartments. Now we get into a bag system like this. And I have a video on my YouTube channel explaining this EDC bag. This right here would be what I would consider a very entry-level meal prepping bag system. It's going to come with 3 of these and this carrying case bag. The company's pretty good about it. I'm not bragging for them. I'm just saying what I've actually used, okay? And this is something that will come with your strap. And then you will have your compartment right here where your 3 trays will fit into for your food. And then you also have a side pouch right here for if you want to put maybe your napkins, your spoons. Then you have a section right here that will give you a section to put 2 water bottles, please. 2 water bottles. And then you have another zipper section. Maybe you want to put your vitamins over here. And then they have this flap section right here where you could put things like this. You could put a collapsible bowl, all types of little stuff. So this is like an entry-level meal prep bag system, and you can get into this system. I think this might have been about $40 for the entire system, 35 to $40, and that's something worth doing. And I would advise maybe doing that after you've already done a month of these and you get into the rhythm of things, and you're like, you know what? I'm really serious about this. I'm really going to meal prep. I've been meal prepping for 30 days, 30, 60 days. I want a bag system, something I don't have to keep carrying around these white bags, because I want to look a bit more suave, with my meal system. I want to look like I'm feeling. I don't want to carry the Kroger's bag with these in it no more. I don't outgrew that. Cool. If you've been disciplined, why not? Splurge on yourself. Do it. You should. You deserve it. Now, I'm going to tell you recently what I did. I'm 2 weeks out from show. Our first show, and I say our show because I'm talking about me and my wife, and of course, newly acquired friend, confidant, brother, Coach Jay. I say us because me and my wife competes with me. And I don't mean she's on stage with me. What I mean is she's with me every step of the way. When I'm busy training clients and I'm ripping and running, then I got to do my training sessions. She's cooking the food. She's getting my chicken ready because I keep things to a minimal. I practice what I preach, just chicken or white fish, just sweet potato or rice and spinach. It's easier for her and for me if I'm in a pinch. But 2 weeks, we got a competition coming up this week. And then I have a competition the next week in Ohio. So recently, my frequency is very different. I've utilized all three of these different type of compartments. And what I did, instead of spending $200 on a meal prep system, I took my ass right to Walmart. I bought one of those cooler bag carrying bags. You know, they big. Sometimes you see the old people with them. You know, that's a big old bag. But guess what? It cost me nothing really. It cost me, I think that thing cost me like $15. And I can put like 3 or 4 of these in there along with my water, along with my rice cakes. I could have went out and spent $200 on an upgraded bag from one of these innovative meal prep bag system, but I'm only going to be living this said life because of this typical protocol for like 3 weeks. Why would I go out and spend $200 for 3 weeks? I know there's certain things you probably would. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying this is my reasoning, and I practice what I'm telling you. Be financially savvy when it comes to this. Don't put unneeded money into these sections. And that's what I did. Okay, so I also have a day of eating video on the YouTube channel that shows you what I eat throughout the day so far where I am now. I might do another one tomorrow. We have the fat loss challenge tomorrow, so my eating's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be fasted in the morning. I also probably will be on IG live in the morning doing my fasted cardio session. I'm not sure if I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. I'll be up at 4 a.m. regardless, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go live at 5 or 6 a.m. But with that being said, I also will give you some more information into that. I also will allow, it's a little easier for you to ask questions also and for me to answer them verbally versus on the chat because I tend to pay more attention to the camera than the chat here. But if you get onto my IG live when I'm doing my cardio, unlike other people that do cardio and they just sit there and let you watch them sweat, I literally will answer your questions. And sometimes if you're able and you're presentable, I will bring you in on the live so you can verbally ask me these questions because sometimes information can get lost in text. But if I can verbally hear what you're trying to explain to me, then I can respond more efficiently and accurately to what you're trying to get out of me. Other than that, all the topics that are based on here on the live are inquiries that people have sent to me DM versus via Instagram. If you give me a topic and I poll it and everybody's not really interested into it, I'm not going to ignore you. What I will do is I'll answer you one-on-one personally. I'll give you a little bit of information on it. Hopefully that'll help you, but I won't ignore you. I won't say, you know what, nobody else wants to hear this crap. I'm not doing it. No, I will come back to you. Hey, I didn't get a big consensus on it, but I'll answer it one-on-one. How about that? If you do need help and you want to try to find out, if you're the type of person like, I don't have time to work out, I don't have time to do the meal plans, you can DM me and send me your email address and I will send you a daily diary, basically helping you. You will fill this diary out with what you do throughout the day, with the times and everything. And then I'll evaluate it. And then we'll have a consult where I will help you find times to extract a workout time and how you can go ahead and start implementing maybe your meal frequency. Also on the website is a calorie calculator at www.thatguyhealth.com. Completely free. All you got to do is you can play with it, put your goals in there, put your activity in there, put your calorie, and it's going to help kick out calories for you, whether you want to gain, maintain, or lose. That's another tool and resource, and that's what you should do. Just don't try to guess at it. Put it in a calculator. I work out 3 to 4 times a week. I want to lose fat loss because we really essentially don't want to lose muscle. I want to have fat loss, and my calorie calculator will give you a macro or a caloric value that will help you reach those goals. Other than that, I really hope that the audio was clear this time. I really hate that I did this earlier and it sucked, but I promise you, if this audio is jacked up, I will come back a 3rd time and do this. I am that type of person. I will not give up on you. Do not give up on me. Listen, I got to go do my cardio. I'm in prep. I'm in training. I'm going to do cardio. I'm going to get up in the morning, do cardio again. I hope that you all are having a wonderful life. Be safe. Let's build together. See you again. Peace.